Well, let's turn now to the UN Climate Conference in Glasgow, Scotland, as talks are entering the second week, and this is a crucial final week for this gathering. Teams of negotiators are under increasing pressure right now to turn promises made by world leaders last week into concrete action and a detailed agreement. And earlier today, well, delegates did hear from the former U.S. President Barack Obama. He warned that much more needs to be done, but he also had a message of hope.
There are times where I feel discouraged. There are times where the future seems somewhat bleak. There are times where I am doubtful that humanity can get its act together before it's too late. And images of dystopia start creeping into my dreams. And yet, whenever I feel such despondency, I remind myself that cynicism is the recourse of cowards. We can't afford hopelessness. Instead, we are going to have to muster the will and the passion and the activism of citizens pushing governments, companies, and everyone else to meet this challenge.
Well, the CBC's senior meteorologist Johanna Wagstaff was listening in on Barack Obama. She is right now a part of our team in Scotland covering this summit and has more now on the address from the former U.S. president.
His speech ran almost a full hour, and it was really a speech in three parts, moving from positivity about all of the meaningful progress that has been made since Paris, promise for further progress, and then to a more dire tone saying that, we have fallen short. But it was interesting how he talked about the Trump administration. Take a listen.
Some of our progress stalled when my successor decided to unilaterally pull out of the Paris Agreement in his first year in office. I wasn't real happy about that. And yet, the determination of our state and local governments, along with the regulations and investment that my administration had already put in place, allowed our country to keep moving forward.
He went on to say that despite 4 years of the attempts to stop progress, things have still continued. But he said not enough is being done. He did list all of the accomplishments and pledges from last week, but said he realizes that his government didn't end up making all of their promises set in Paris, including that $100 billion fund for poor nations. The bulk of his speech, though, Michael, really dedicated to directly speaking to the youth. And later on today, he will be attending a conference outside of this center for activists and youth groups, speaking to them more directly. But, he said the energy here is with the youth, and that's who is getting busy, and that's who is getting things done. So overall, a positive speech, but definitely the star power today, Michael.
Now, the theme today, Johanna, is adaptation, loss, and damage from the effects of climate change. And you have some details of a new study that revealed just how many people could be affected as temperatures warm up.
That's right. 2 new studies out today, UN-backed studies. One really highlighting how many people will be impacted on a degree-by-degree basis, and really tying into the adaptation themes of today. It was back in Paris that island nations really came together and said, I know you're all trying to agree on 2 degrees, but we won't exist if we don't keep it down to 1.5. And that's why 1.5 alive is such a theme of this conference. Even at 1.5 degrees warming, half the entire population of Earth will be affected by climate hazards. And the study went on to find that if we keep warming down by 2 degrees, add another 800 million people affected, Michael, just by water stress alone. So some hard numbers coming out. And later on today, we'll be hearing about Canada's commitment to adaptation plans and how that connects to Canadians on the ground. Of course, we're seeing climate change in the north happening at 2 to 3 rates the rest of the world is.
And our thanks to senior meteorologist Johanna Wagstaff in Glasgow, Scotland. Now, here's a question for you. How can you help in the fight against climate change? Are the actions you are already taking actually effective? Well, you can send us your questions about everyday climate solutions to ask@cbc.ca. We're going to aim to get you some answers to those questions by 4 p.m. Eastern Time today. That is when the rundown airs right here on CBC News Network.